Hello, and welcome to the CFI Fund's Office of Certification Policy and Evaluation and Office of Financial Strategies and Research, this training webinar on how to complete the Annual Certification and Data Collection Report, otherwise known as the ACR, in the new Lightning interface of the CFI Fund's Awards Management Information System, also known as AMIS. Before we get into the specific ACR training, we would like to cover some general information about the ACR and its structure, as well as show you where you can locate the updated AMIS user guides. The CDFI Fund's ACR is used to ensure that certified CDFIs continue to meet the requirements of certification. The data collected also allows the CDFI Fund to gain insight into trends in the CDFI industry. Certified CDFIs are required to submit ACRs on an annual basis through the CDFI Fund's Awards Management Information System. CDFIs are required to submit their ACR within 90 days of the end of their organization's fiscal year. Failure to submit a required ACR may result in a loss of certification status and additional sanctions for CDFIs that are program recipients. Newly certified CDFIs are not required to submit an ACR until the next fiscal year after their initial certification, at the discretion of the CDFI Fund. The ACR is comprised of four main sections in order of AMIS appearance. Section 1, Organizational Information, collects organizational profile information, lines of business, governance structure, and details related to the 7 requirements for certification. Section 2, Development Services Detail, collects information on development services provided by a certified CDFI, including clients served and development services provided in target markets. Section 3, Financial Data Detail, collects information and data related to a certified CDFI's assets, liabilities, income, expenses, and loan and investment portfolio. Section 4, Financial Products Portfolio Breakdown Detail, collects specific data related to financial products, types, and subtypes of loans and investments, as well as detailed target market activity. Certified CDFIs are required to enter information into all 4 sections in order to have a full, complete ACR that is ready for submission. The annual certification data collection report instructions and other ACR-related resources are available on the CDFI Fund website at the link shown below. For the best service, the CDFI Fund recommends submitting a service request in AMIS. You should select for certification from the pull-down menu and clearly indicate the issue in the subject line. The table below indicates 3 types of contact information that you can reach out to if you have an ACR-related question. There's a certification help desk. There's the Financial Strategies and Research, which has an email address. And then there's the AMIS support desk, which has both a telephone and email address as shown. I will now take you through finding where the user guides, the updated user guides reside on the CDFI Fund's website. On the CDFI Fund's website, select Tools and Resources link on the upper right-hand corner. After that, on the Tools and Resources page, please select the AMIS link. Then you scroll over and you should select the AMIS Training Materials link on the AMIS page, which is in the upper right portion of the page. And then on the AMIS training page, you will find training materials and tutorials which will help you navigate the new Lightning version of AMIS. So just scroll down the page and you'll see a section that is called the AMIS Lightning Resources. Now, for the user guide specifically related to the ACR, you want to go to a different section of the page. So we'll go back to the CDFI Funds main page. You can find all certification-related compliance reports are located under the certification section of the Funds website. So you would go under the tab for programs and trainings, go to certification, go down to CDFI, click on it, and that will bring you up to the CDFI certification page. You then scroll down and you go to step 2 for reporting and you click. You can then, this page shows you then all of the reporting information related to the ACR. So in order to access the new Lightning training version of the ACR, you want to click on the link here. And you scroll down and you'll make sure you want to pick the version that says September 2021. And if you scroll down a few pages, you will start to see new screenshots which show that this is the Lightning version. If you have any questions related to the ACR or require technical assistance, we ask again that you please submit a service request via your organization's AMIS account. You can also reach out again to those contacts that were shown on the slide. So during today's webinar, we're going to demonstrate how to submit a new ACR. Now let's get started. Once you've logged in to your organization's AMIS account, you want to click on the Related tab. You wait for the information to load, and then you want to scroll down your page until you reach the certification section. And in the certification section, you want to click on the number listed under the certification name, making sure that your record type is CDFI and that this is also an active certification. So you click on that certification name, and that will now bring up the certification detail page. So you then, once you've reached this page, you want to click on the Related tab, and that will show you two sections. One is your CDFI Annual Certification Report section, so your ACR section, and then the reporting schedule for your ACR. Remember that you cannot start a new ACR report unless you see an entry in the ACR reporting schedule that matches that report year. So in this case, we want to start a new annual certification report for the 2022 year. If we look down in our reporting schedule, we see that indeed we have it populated for 2022 and it says it's pending receipt. So then you can scroll back up and you click on the button here on the upper right that says New CDFI Annual Certification Report. So in a change from previous versions of the ACR, this is now a pop-up box, which will ask you to complete all the information that was shown before on your the first page of your ACR. The difference here is that in order to be able to save this information, you need to put information into all of the required fields. We say that if you're pressed for time and you don't have all of that information, what you can do is you can just put placeholder information and then go back and edit it at a later time. There will also be questions in this section that pertain to certain financial institution types. So there are certain questions that pertain only to certain regulated entities and certain questions that pertain only to unregulated entities. So as I'm going through this, I may skip some of those questions based on the regulated entity type that I have for this test case. So first you want to go through is you want to go in, pick your primary line of business. You'll see there's a red star. and those indicate your required fields. So secondary line of business is also indicated there. Total FTE staff is required. It's another red star. So I'm just going to put in, these are just made up numbers, by the way. I don't have any other required questions it shows in this section with stars. So I'm going to move to the next section. And I'm just answering these questions just based on the easiest way that will let me then be able to continue to show you all what happens in the demo. Okay, right here in this target market section, these are some new questions that we added for the 2022 round to be aware of. So we are now asking you to provide us with the beginning part of the year and the end part of the year for that target market information that you are attesting to. Okay, and now I'm going to answer some additional questions here, just in the easiest way, as I said, to get this moving. So of course, in your case, if you have any of these things have changed, because these are all the required questions related to your certification, if any of these things have changed since your last ACR submission, then you should indicate so and then attach whatever supporting documentation is necessary. Okay, so I put all of those in, and now I'm going to hit save, and we'll see if it'll take my answers. Okay, so here's an example where you get an error message. So apparently there is a question. Okay, so my test case type is a credit union. I failed to answer the questions on credit unions that were required. So I need to go back in and put in this information. And again, I'm just making up these numbers. And I will go scroll down and see if there are any other areas that are red, indicating I failed to answer them. Okay, and then I hit save. And we'll see if it takes us. Okay, so I was able to create the first page of the ACR. And so you scroll down and you see the answers that I put in. And then if you need to go back in another setting, if you weren't able to edit this part, then that's where you want to be able to go in and edit it at a different point in time. So which would involve you going back to a different screen here and editing it. But I'm going to move on to complete the next portions of the ACR. So here are those sections that I talked about. So your development services, your financial data, your financial products portfolio breakdown. So in the development services space, you would hit new to enter your information. And then you would pick, I'm just going to do some sample ones real quick. So say business technical assistance. That would seem to make sense for business financing. You'd say there were 1,000 clients total served, and 500 of them were in my target market. And then I will just hit save. If you have additional ones, more than one development service that you offered in that fiscal year, then you should hit the button save and new. And that will then save what you just entered and then give you a new screen so that you can then enter those additional development services. So in my case, I'm just going to hit save. Okay, this was not an expected error. So unfortunately, I don't know why this is happening in my test case here, but we're just going to say okay and leave that alone. But you'll see now that here on the development services, that row is entered. Okay, so then the next section we have is the financial data section. I'm going to hit New. And we are a credit union. This will show, depending on what type of financial institution you are type, this will change. So I hit Continue. And then you will see all of the red areas indicated are those fields that are required. And as we say, for certain regulated entity types, credit unions, not cooperativas, but credit unions, and banks, we do provide some pre-populated regulator data information. And those fields that have that information, you will see will be grayed out. And so you're not able to enter that information. You will see that information will appear for you after you've entered in all of your other data fields, and then you hit the Save button. And then that pre-populated information will then appear on that next screen where you can see all of the information entered. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Cancel here. Go back to my related page so I can show you the other sections. Okay, let me just hit refresh to see what might be going on. Oh, there we go. Okay. So then the financial products portfolio breakdown detail section. So hit New. And then you'll see here are the required fields. Again, so I'm going to say I did loans, type, intermediary financing, and then I did 100 of those. It was over $1 million, target market. All of them were in my target market, I'd say. So I guess I should say 100,000. And I put the number in. Oh, okay. Target market number there is incorrect. So let me go in and fix that so it better matches. Oh, okay. Sorry. Make sure I get the right zeros here. Okay, now they match. You may see this wording here about view all dependencies. These just have to do with a new feature in the Lightning Salesforce, and by default it's there. And basically if you click on it, it's just going to show you some relationships, but you can just ignore it and just carry on with how you're doing. So again, similar to how we done development services, if you need to enter more than just loans, like if you also do equity investments, then you would hit Save and New. If you offer multiple different types of loans, so not just intermediary financing, suppose you do one involving mortgages, so you need to put in some real estate ones, again, you would hit the Save and New and then put that information in. So I will hit Save here. Okay, and it's telling me that the financial portfolio breakdown was created. And then you would see your additional ones there. So once you have put in information for your development services, financial data, and financial products portfolio breakdown, and then you have attached, if you need so, any necessary related attachments that are required or asked for. So in this case, if you are a regulated entity whose call report pre-population data was incorrect, then you should then attach here in the related attachment sections. That's where you should attach an explanation and any documentation necessary to tell us what those values should be changed to. If you had any changes to any of the questions that are asked about your certification status, so this is around your target market, financing entity, non-governmental entity status and things. If you have changes from your last ACR that need to be explained, this is also where you would make those attachments. And then just the reporting schedule here just tells you currently what your status is. So right now, because we haven't submitted this, it's saying pending receipt. And so then once you've got everything finished, you want to go in and you want to go to submit annual certification report. Since I don't have everything finished, I'm not going to hit that button right now, but that's what you will do. And if you have finished everything and you meet all of our auto approval checks, then you should have a message should appear on your screen telling you that you've been auto approved. And then you could go back to your certification detail page and look and see the status of your ACR and see that it has a review complete status. If there are issues that need to actually be manually reviewed by ACR, changes that need to be manually reviewed by certification staff, then in that case you will see your status as being submitted, and you won't have that notice flash on, but it may just say you've successfully submitted your ACR. So I will go back here to the detail page, and then I will click here on certification and go to the related tab. And again, this is where I was talking about where you should see if your ACR was auto approved and everything, then you would see sort of review status as review complete. If there are questions, if there are issues with it, attachments, change in answers from your previous ACR submission that don't meet our auto approval status, then you would see your report status would be as submitted. So I will go back. I'll go back and click on the 2022 one. And so this is where if you then, here we put some placeholder text. If you hit edit button, it'll bring that screen back up. So we could go in here, and this is where we could enter some additional information from last time. So strategic plan, I'll just answer these questions, changing what I had before. Say yes. See if there's anything else that I want to change, from before. Say yes. And then you just hit save. And I should be able to scroll down. Yes, and now see that my answers have been recorded as before. And then again, when you need to go to the other sections, you would hit related and start. And again, I had started that financial data section before, but I hadn't saved it. And that's why you now see this being shown as new, because I hadn't previously started it, whereas I had saved records for the other ones. And then I'll go back to the detail page. And I just want to scroll down here. Okay, and this is this regulator attestation question, which you should not answer if you're a regulated entity, if you're a bank or a credit union, but a credit union that's not a cooperativa, until after you've seen your values pre-populated from your call report and verified those responses that they're correct. And as I said, if they're yes, then you want to answer as such. And you'll see, and it should have a yes, no drop down there. And then there's also a note to acknowledge. You could click that to acknowledge your responses there. And again, if you say no, then be prepared to attach your documentation saying why those call report values do not match what you have that we pre-populated. Okay, I think that includes all of the major portions for today. Let me see just in case if there's anything else here to show you that is a new question that may not be showing up here. Yes, okay. One other thing, so I didn't go over this because I was a credit union test case, but for loan funds and venture fund capitals, we have added questions here related to closed new financial product transactions. So this is where we're trying to check and see if you still are in regular operations. So those are two new questions that we've added there for the 2022 section that only for 2022 ACR that only pertain to loan funds and venture funds. Whereas before I had shown the target market year questions and these pertain to everyone. So I think that concludes everything to help you get started through Lightning on the ACR. So again, if you have everything entered, all of your sections complete, then you can go up and you can hit submit your CDFI annual certification report. So thank you for taking the time today to watch this certification FS&R joint webinar on how to complete an ACR for 2022. If you have any additional questions, please submit the service request through AMIS. Thank you and have a great day.